You guys tell me. How you doing? I'm good. Where's all the girls at?
They didn't make it today. We were wondering. What was your reaction when London told you he's probably done, and how did that conversation go down?
Well, we didn't discuss it, but you kind of had a feeling that it was coming. It's coming. But what a great football player. The guy's done it for years. It's been a great pleasure to coach the guy. Probably one of the best I've ever been around. Probably a Hall of Famer. A guy that's you can't ask anymore. Great, he's a great person, great family man. He's a great leader on your football team. Unbelievable skill set. He's a guy that loved talking to football wise, because you could talk to him in 5 minutes and he takes the stuff on the field. So it's easy communication. Talking to another coach, and then to go out and execute and to play as many games as he's done over his career in consecutive games, playing that position. Because I can tell you, playing that position, usually you're going to get beat up, break something, fingers, hand, So to me, that's incredible what he's done over the 16 years he's played.
In terms of just preparation, guys say that oftentimes he'll say, hey, look out for this play, and then that play will happen. Have you been around guys like that have an understanding and
a few, but not like this. I think I've been around guys that played with guys like that. It's just even like today, he said, what's your draw? What's your counter? I mean, he kind of knew exactly out of those three formations, you're going to get these three plays. So it's, like I said, his preparation's better than anybody I've been around.
We're talking about a guy who wasn't drafted. There was 32 other linebackers drafted that year to come out of John Carroll. What is his legacy then? What does he leave the game?
Well, he leaves one with the Super Bowl ring, which they're hard to get. The second thing, he's a guy that's played more consecutive games at that position than anybody. I don't know anybody else that's played to his age besides Matthews. Clay, I think it was Clay that's played. He was 42, I think, when Clay was playing. But it's remarkable that a guy can play that position inside. Clay played outside, play inside, and be the consecutive streak. I've seen a guy get nicked up, beat up, have a high ankle sprain, and go out and play, not practice all week, and play at a high level. I think it's incredible what he's done.
How does he compare, after coaching him for 4 years, based on what you thought about him when you were elsewhere in the league, and even when I guess you started breaking down film when you first got here?
Well, I'll say this. When I was in New Orleans as a head coach, London was in St. Louis, and we used to have great rivals, and I used to watch him then in that system, and I thought the guy was unbelievable that he could run and do the things he did from a skill set wise. And then, for whatever reason, he ends up in Buffalo, and he does the same thing, and then the Redskins were lucky enough, to get him and, finish it out here, which it's remarkable that he could play at that high a level in consecutive games and everything for that length of time. Really is for that position. Not to me, I don't know anybody could do that. I got about 5 and then I got beat up. So
he took some time to make that decision to come back this past spring, and part of it obviously was the success that this team had last year, going 10-6, thinking that this could be a special year, a Ray Lewis type of thing. How much have you seen the disappointment of the season weigh on him? Has he showed any of that kind of emotion at all, that he's been frustrated or beaten down by the way that things have gone?
Well, I think everybody, not including him, he gets London's the kind of guy that he gears up. Wednesday he's focused in on the game plan. He's taking notes. Probably the best note taker I've ever been around. He mentally gets prepared for practice on Wednesday. Thursday he comes in, he's a little more grumpy because he kind of knows what's going on. Friday, I don't even talk to him because he's got the focus on ready to play the game on Sunday. So if you're going to communicate with London, you got to be on Wednesday and Thursday, because Friday and Saturday he's geared in on the game, and so it's something you just love the way he prepares, and the way he takes coaching, and he's one of the best ever. It's amazing.
With London, that's the first of could be 7 or 8 different faces you could have on this defense depending on how the offseason goes with free agency and so forth. Is that a bit daunting thinking about that, what all the changes you may have to make for defense?
Well, that's something that happens when you win 3 games. Something that you prepare for. We got a lot of free agents on that side of the ball and on this side of the ball, and it's something you'll deal with. But it's not uncommon in the NFL.
With London, should he go into TV or coaching?
He could do either. Knowing London, just being around him, and he sees the hours that the coaches work. I think he loves that part of the game, but I don't think he wants to stay here from 4 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night when he has young kids. So I would probably say the other way, if I'm a guessing man.
So you're saying Chick doesn't work those hours?
Better watch out.
Careful.
I know a couple guys.
Both of you be careful.
At least when you get on the air, you know what he's talking about. No. I'm only kidding, Chick. I don't even watch it. So
3 wins. All right.
Hey, as far as Rack goes, the strong finish to the season and being a free agent, when we talk to him about comparing himself to other really good players at his position, he says he has more responsibilities. And he looks at other guys who have higher sack totals, and they just pin their ears back every down. How fair is that he drops more, that he plays the run more? And how would you compare him to some of the elite players at his position?
Well, I don't know what you're calling elite, but I'll say sack-wise, number-wise, he's got 10, and you got like Matthews who has 16, who rushes every down. Quinn, who has 15, I think he rushes every down. I don't know who else is in between, but I would say that's fair because he doesn't rush every down. He rushes every down on 3rd down or nickel, but he does drop into coverage. He's really good in the run. I think him and Ryan are 2 of the best I've been around at covering people. So I don't think it's fair. He's not a true 4-down lineman. Now, that being said, there's other guys that have made that transition to a down lineman, and they're not that successful because it's hard to do it every single snap. It's a little bit of different breed down there.
In terms of free agency, I guess. Is that the kind of guys the defensive coordinator, when they say, we can't pay him this type of money, you stand on the table for?
Personally, myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I think the guy's a heck of a player, and I think he showed what he's worked to this organization over the 4 years. He's been very successful. He's obviously he's a heck of a rush guy, but the other things he does besides that, he's outstanding. Covering tight ends and backs to the flat, and in the run game, him and Ryan are the reason why you're so successful in the run. It's hard to get outside because of those 2.
It is Dallas week. You got Tony Romo. He obviously has a penchant for making some plays that don't really work out for them late in the ball game. When does that take place? What do you have to do to force that out of him?
Well, I tell you, the people or the media or whoever overdoes it with Tony because he'll make a bad decision or something will happen, he'll get an interception, but they don't see like the Minnesota game where he takes the last 2 series and drives down the field to win the game. So I look at the positive. I see a guy I think is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, throws for 5,000 yards almost every year, makes plays with his feet, stays alive, runs the offense, does a little of everything. And, so I see a guy that, to me, is one of the elite quarterbacks in the league, that if you're going to throw it 60 times a game, yeah, maybe something bad's going to happen, or someone's going to drop a ball, it's going to get intercepted or something. So I think it gets overdone with him because of the situation. I think he's one of the elite quarterbacks in the league.
With Bakari Rambo, what went into him being inactive on Sunday?
Just because we're getting other guys up and giving them an opportunity. Played Jose Gums in 3rd down situations last week. Wanted to see what he could do. Just trying to find a situation where we can find a safety that could be consistent.
As you guys struggled on 3rd down on that first drive, obviously gave up the touchdown. What changed after that allowed you guys to get off and be pretty good the rest of the way?
Yeah, I think we were 0 for 3 in that first drive on 3rd down, and we just didn't execute, to be honest with you. We were there, we had opportunities to make a play. I think corner and the safety were right there, just couldn't make the play. And then after that, guys, we didn't change anything. I actually stuck to what we were going to do, and I told these guys to make some plays, and they did. They went 0 for 8. The next 8, they were 0 for, and we did a nice job in the run game, which was number one. And then we got some heat on Matt last week, and I thought the guys covered after that first series. We did a nice job, especially on third down.
You guys have been pretty high on Chris Baker for a while. It's taken him some time to develop. He played 53 snaps the other day. What did you see from him in that game, and can he take that kind of a pounding? I know it's a little bit of a weird thing for a D lineman to play that.
The reason he played so much and we started him is because we thought, it's been a growing process with Chris. He came in, everybody knows the background, a little bit immature, kind of grew up, got better and better every year. He was the guy when we first got here, if the phone went off in the meeting, it's probably Chris. You don't see that now. He's grown up from a standpoint. He's focusing on football, which is, I think, it's important to him now. And I think he's playing at a high level. Obviously, he's very athletic. He's 6'3", he's 330 pounds, very athletic, can run, powerful. And I think last week was his best game. We gave him the opportunity to start. I did a nice job. Probably his best game he's played. I think he has 7 or 8 tackles and a couple pressures on the goal line stance. He was the reason why we made the 4th and 1 stop. He knocked the center or the guard back about 5 feet or 5 yards in the end zone. So, I think he's come into himself, and hopefully he continue to keep growing and become the player that we think he's going to be.
Just from a philosophical standpoint, as a defensive mind, you've now run the 3-4 here since you've gotten here. You've also coordinated 4-3s in the past. Yeah. What's your preference as a coordinator, and what types of things do you think you can do in a 3-4 you can't do in a 4-3, vice versa?
It really all depends on the personnel you have, what you want to do. If you want to stick, if you have 4-3 people, you better have good edge rushers, and you better have a 3 technique that can get upfield and do a lot of different things. Have a nose that can handle the middle. 3-4 is a little bit different. You have 2 outside linebackers that can do what Ryan and Rack do. They got to be able to rush. They got to be able to beat up tight ends in the run game, and they got to be able to cover it flat. We don't ask them to do a lot of covering, but the coverage part of it's the easy part. You got to have a great nose, and then whether you're in a 4-3 or 3-4, the inside guys really don't make a difference, and the coverages are all the same.
With all the noise, as a lot of people around here call it, how unnerving is this whole situation to you? I mean, you were in a bad situation that last year in New Orleans. How much do you think about it? How are you able to kind of block it out? How do you deal with it? Well,
to be honest with you, I hear, everybody hears about it sooner or later, or when you're playing or whatever. I don't really get concerned with it because I'm just right now just worried about one thing, that's Dallas. The players are the same thing. I think the players are excellent when we get in the meeting rooms and on the field. They've done a great job last week. At least the defensive guys are talking about. They did a good job focusing on what they have to do. And so from a coach's perspective, you really don't see it because I come in 4:00 in the morning and you're watching tape and getting ready for meetings and doing all that stuff, and then you leave at 11. You really don't hear about that much. Obviously, when you get on a plane after a game, you hear some stuff, but it's kind of over then. Anything else? Okay, guys.